bringing in the client journey and doing journey mapping and really changing that whole front end of the process, being much more market-in, but much more from the perspective of through the eyes of the customers, looking at different personas, mapping through different journeys that our clients would need to take, and then building our solution and value propositions from that standpoint has been a very new and different approach within our organization.
Welcome to the Tearsheet Podcast. I'm Zack Miller. Steering the marketing and strategy for one of the largest brands in financial technology is no small feat. Today's guest is Ellyn Raftery, Chief Marketing and Strategy Officer for FIS. She spent a big part of her career running professional services marketing, and we talk about the special attention and skill sets financial services marketing requires. We also talk about her vision for a 50-year-old brand and what attributes and messaging she uses. Lastly, FIS has been doing a whole lot of work around UI and UX, and in our discussion of that, we tackle the evolution of financial services marketing as a whole. Ellyn Raftery is my guest today on the Tearsheet Podcast.
Hey, good morning. I am Ellyn Raftery, and I am the Chief Marketing and Strategy Officer for FIS. I have been in marketing my entire career and mostly focused on the technology side of marketing, working for many different Fortune 500 companies who are mainly focused in technology. My background is in professional services marketing, straddling across software marketing, services marketing, solution marketing, and really bringing all the disciplines of, product all the way to, kind of selling air. So selling actual product to selling air and thought leadership, and my experience kind of fits the gamut in between.
And I guess a question I have for you is now that you're at FIS, when did you join FIS?
I've been at FIS for 6.5 years.
Oh, sorry. So how has that experience been different from some of the other experiences you have? I guess what I'm asking is financial services marketing substantially different than some of the other industries you've been involved with?
It has been. FIS is very much a white label brand. That means that a lot of the, primarily the products and services that we sell get rebranded, reskinned when we sell them to our clients, and then our clients, go to market with our solutions with their brand on them. So it's been a very different type of marketing, since the brand is important. It's important to the clients that we sell to, but they turn around and sell our technology or leverage our technology with their customers. So it's not necessarily a brand that is a household brand or one that consumers necessarily know or understand. So financial institutions definitely know who we are, but their end users really don't. So that's been an interesting way for us to build the brand and build the reputation of the company. In the 6.5 years that I've been with the company, we've expanded our footprint beyond just the financial services organizations, primarily banking and community banking, and then into the large financial institutions. We've also crossed over into adjacent markets, into more of the commercial side of banking, and also into the retail and merchant side of the industry, and expanding into several different industries from there on our payment side of the house. So building the brand has been a really interesting aspect of the company, because on the financial services side, we're very much white labeled. And as we move into some of these adjacent markets, the brand is not as well known. So we've really had to focus in different ways to build up our reputation in some of those new adjacent markets.
And one of the things we like to talk about on this podcast are some of the priorities around sort of the changing nature of UI and UX. I know you guys are addressing that. Can you talk about some of the work you're doing there and maybe some of the partners you're using as well?
Yes, we've been doing some really fun things in UI and UX. The user experience, obviously is the heart and soul of where everything is moving. And product development in past has very much, I think for many organizations, been, both market in and as well as, kind of company out. And we kind of get stuck in old paradigms by doing that. And so, bringing in the client journey and doing journey mapping and really changing that whole front end of the process, being much more marketing, but much more from the perspective of that through the eyes of the customers, looking at different personas, mapping through different journeys that our clients would need to take, and then building our solution and value propositions from that standpoint has been a very new and different approach within our organization. And so we've partnered initially with organizations like the Frog, as well as Digitas have been some of our main partners to help us, build up and get moving on the new, more modern user experience aspect, which brings, both the research aspect, the journey mapping, as well as the digital development. And in working with those partners, we've also been able to build up in-house capabilities, and it's been quite a, really fun aspect of the marketing organization to really grow out our skill set in that area and hire new talent that brings in that, digital first user experience mindset, working together with both our lines of businesses, so helping them with the development of their, next gen products, but also applying that same discipline to our marketing. And so we've been able to bring several new, or are about to bring to market several new value offers for our clients that really take advantage of this user experience. One being a tool that is rooted in artificial intelligence and bot intelligence, where voice activated and is a personal assistant that we will be rolling out to our clients that help them to not only navigate our company and our products, but also provide some service capability to them. So our user experience team has been working very closely with our technology team to develop that tool, and that's a new value offer that marketing will be rolling out with our clients in the next few months. So lots of really fun things like that. Also our client app, which also has some voice features to that, which is connected into our client portal. So it connects into some of the service capability that our clients generally come to a client portal to get information about ticketing and service level and some of those kinds of things. That's now being pushed and available to them through a client app that's also voice activated. So a lot of very, kind of innovative and fun new things that we're doing with our user experience team.
That's really interesting. And I guess as a follow-on question to that, what was the role of user feedback? How user-driven were some of those initiatives?
Very user-driven. So we have several different ways to stay very, very close to our clients. We run every quarter. We have a client loyalty study that we do, and so within a year, a client has been touched at least once through our client loyalty study. It gives us, one aspect of voice of the customer. We also run user group meetings on a pretty frequent basis. And we have two large user group meetings for our different areas each year. We use those user group meetings as a way to showcase new things to our clients, but also get the voice of the client early in on a lot of the development that we do, both on the product side as well as some of these go-to-market initiatives. So those are a few of the ways that we connect with our customers on a regular basis for voice of the customer. But when we have special initiatives like this that are on a fairly fast roadmap and timetable, then we will tap into some of our clients where we have relationships, both mostly where we know that they're going to provide us the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we're getting very tangible insights into how it would be valuable to them, and gives us insights into what some of those journeys will be. And so we'll pick out some of the clients that we know are will have good input for us, and put them into more of a mini user group on these specific go-to-markets. So we're actually pulling them out of their product user groups and pulling them into some of our next gen new offer focus groups, if you will, to get their insights as we're developing out some of our ideas.
I'm sure you get a ton of information from that. If we can switch direction a little bit to branding, and with the space changing so quickly, I know customer demands are changing, technology is changing. How do you decide on the brand attributes and messaging for such a established brand in the space?
Yep, we have shifted our brand in the few years that I've been here to be more of a purpose-driven brand, and that's not just the social aspect of it, but it's really about moving away from product, feature, function, and really leaning into what's the role of our organization, what is it, what's the value that we offer to our clients, and so really kind of leading into more of a purpose driven brand. We're in the process right now, since we've got a major acquisition that we just announced a few months ago, and we're getting ready to close on that acquisition. We're in the process right now of continuing to shift our brand to expand it into some of the new territory, which is in the e-commerce space, and further deepens our capability in the payment space. But we continue to lean into that purpose-driven, the value that we'll provide to the client, as opposed to really talking about feature functions or talking about the company itself. It's been a really helpful way for us then to create a bigger umbrella for the company that gives us a way to tell the story of the company in a much more meaningful way. So as we do lean into some of these journey stories that are important to our clients, we have a way to connect into the stories, not pushing products or not pushing services, but really showcasing value. And many of the client stories that we have to tell around that are told in those kinds of ways, those journey stories that that allow us to really pay off on that purpose-driven nature of the brand. In terms of where our brand investments go, we are very tied to I call it the 3 R's: reputation, relationship, and revenue. For any dollar that we spend in any one of those areas, it has to translate into driving a value stream or driving a revenue stream, so that everything is not just broadcast branding for branding's sake, that it's actually helping us to build our reputation, deepen our relationships, and getting our story out there in a way where clients are driving demand for the value that we bring. And so it's very integrated go-to-market, and that's much different than the way we were going to market several years ago.
So given that evolution, I guess, and how you go to market, I'm curious about the marketing mix and how you think about channels.
We think about channels the way any marketer would think about channels, traditional and new channels, and also developing out some of our own channels as a way. With the advent of social media, buying behavior has shifted so much over the last few years. Buyers are so much more educated today, and they really are doing a lot more information, planning, research on that front end of the journey, as opposed to waiting for sales to show up at their doorstep. So we've created some of our own channels as a way to help us leverage the traditional, but also get in front of them in different ways. Some of the new channels that we've created have been thought leadership oriented, where we've created our own broadcast publishing channels and have a way to get out not just to those who have subscribed, but pushing that content out through some really targeted social channels. We've also created what we call our FIS store. It's our merchant store, where we have a lot of content that we're putting into that store that allows clients to go through that journey before they even hit sales. So they get to solution explainers, they get to downloadable demos, they get to trials, and in some cases where the products are fairly straightforward, they can download contracts and actually download and go. And in other situations, because we do sell many complex services, they can get fairly educated, and then they request more information, where we then have a more qualified lead and bring sales into the equation. So we're doing a number of things to create some of our own owned channels, as well as leveraging, the traditional kind of paid and earned channels.
That's interesting about the evolution towards the own channel. And I guess given that emphasis on building that channel out, did that have an impact on how your team's structured?
It does. It really has impacted how we're structured. In the 6.5 years that I've been with the company, we've really built out a full, marketing organization. We treat ourselves as a business. I manage the group really to very solid metrics, and we really, that's something that I sit down with the CEO every quarter and we go through our dashboard of results and accomplishments. So we're really running marketing as a business. We kind of straddle our business, if you will, into three categories. What are we doing to run? What are we doing to grow? And what are we doing to connect the business? In that grow category, lots and lots of metrics in there around demand generation, social media reach, thought leadership, development, many of those kinds of things. In terms of my organization itself, when I started, the group was pretty much an events team and a communications team. And over the 6.5 years, we've really built that out to be, I'll put it into two categories. One is the solution strategy and product marketing team. And then the second category is what I call the in-house agency center of excellence, which would be your shared service function. And so in the solution strategy product marketing area, these are leaders that interface with the divisional presidents. They report into marketing, but they sit on the leadership teams of the divisions. And they really drive the category-specific strategic plan for reputation development, relationship, and revenue building. They leverage then the COE, the in-house agency for services. So they would leverage corporate communications. There's corporate brand and digital customer experience is another one of the centers of excellence. Campaign management is another center of excellence. Content marketing. I have the customer market and data intelligence group, and then I also have a corporate events and trade show group. So that makes up the in-house agency, and those centers of excellence support both the solution strategy product marketing team, but they also have corporate level initiatives that we drive out of the center. So they support both. And everything really in that in-house agency is new, with the exception of corporate communications. And on the product side, everything on the solution marketing, product marketing is all new in the last 6.5 years.
And do you utilize external agencies as well, I guess, on specific initiatives?
We do. We've just recently hired a what I'll call a top 4 or top 5 brand agency to help us with our next evolution of our brand. We also have a partner in Digitas who's been a fantastic partner for us on the digital front, not just on on the solution work that we're doing, but also on on the marketing front, on all of our web properties, our portals, our client app. Many of those things, Digitas has been a terrific partner for us. Lippincott is our new brand partner. We have partners that help us on the public relations side of the house. We have strong partners in different regions of the world, given their relationships and their expertise. So we have what we call our corporate partner, who happens to be based here in North America, but then we also have partners in the Asia Pacific region, and then also in our UK Europe region.
Got it. And I think we have time for one last question. This is a question we ask a lot of our guests on the show. I mean, obviously, it's a vibrant organization. You got a lot going on. And you sort of alluded to this in your previous answers, Ellyn, but like, what are your biggest priorities as a head of marketing headed into the back end of 2019?
Our biggest priorities remain on really helping the organization grow. In the time that I've been here, that revenue generation, that partnership with the line of business and partnership with sales to be really focused on where their growth priorities are and making certain that marketing is working as a function that is helping them drive growth. So very, very focused on the targets in our lines of businesses and driving our campaigns through our campaign engine to drive demand in partnership with them. We generally on an annual basis drive over $3 billion in revenue into our pipeline with a 60% turn rate into one closed business. That's a very, very, very high result against industry benchmarks. So we have a demand gen engine that's working very, very well, but that's because we work very closely with our sales organization and keep a really tight link there from campaign to handoff to sales. The other priority for us is really continuing to grow on our transformational journey, continuing to build out our skill sets in new areas. Recently brought in somebody who has expertise in artificial intelligence and data insights, turning data into knowledge. That is paying off in spades for us. We're building new tools that are helping sales with white space analysis, helping them look at both internal data combined with external data, both structured and unstructured. That's allowing us to do territory planning and being more efficient really from the sales operations perspective. It's helping pull client profiles together that are much more effective for executives as they're in front of clients. We just have a lot of initiatives that are going on right now that are new next gen kind of things that where marketing is adding value to the business in new and different ways. And so bringing in those new skill sets, user experience is all new for the organization. Artificial intelligence, very, very new. Demand generation skill sets, new for the organization. So these are really paying off for us in terms of really running marketing as a business.
Ellyn, thanks so much for joining us on the Tearsheet Podcast today.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.